What if the reason your life hasn't changed is because you keep waiting for the right moment, the right mood, the right motivation to finally begin? The hard truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to push you out of bed, silence your doubts, or do the work for you. This is your moment, your fight, your wake-up call. This isn't just another motivational video. It's a mirror held up to your potential and a challenge to rise. If you're tired of feeling stuck, if you've been chasing goals but losing momentum, if there's a voice inside you that still believes in something more, then keep watching. Because over the next few minutes, we're going to break down 10 truths that have the power to reignite your drive, rewire the way you think, and completely reshape how you show up in your life. Don't just watch this like background noise. Listen, lean in, let this message hit where it needs to. And if it does, take action. Like the video so more people can find it, share it with someone who needs it as badly as you do. And leave a comment below telling us what you're fighting for. And if this is the kind of message that fuels your fire, subscribe now so you never miss what's coming next. You're not here by accident. You're here because some part of you is ready. So let's get into it. Every day begins with a silent battle, long before the world demands anything of you. The moment your alarm rings, you're met with a choice that feels small but holds the weight of your future. Hit snooze and return to comfort, or rise and step into purpose. It's a decision that no one will see, no one will praise you for, but it matters deeply. Because that moment defines who's in control, your feelings or your focus. It's easy to tell yourself that 5 more minutes of rest won't hurt, that you'll start tomorrow, that maybe the dream can wait. But success doesn't wait. Growth doesn't come when it's convenient, and comfort has never built anything worth remembering. Each morning offers a quiet, powerful opportunity to choose discipline over ease, to commit again to the life you said you wanted when motivation was high and distractions were low. What most people don't realize is that greatness isn't created in grand gestures or sudden breakthroughs. It's built in the mundane, in the repeated choice to keep showing up when it's hard, when it's cold, when it's thankless. The easy path will always be open and inviting, whispering, "Relax, there's always tomorrow." But the right path, the one that leads to the life you dream about, asks more of you. It asks for effort without applause, belief without proof, and action without perfect timing. That's why your morning is more than a routine. It's a sacred promise to yourself. It's not about waking up early just to check off a box. It's about rising with purpose, about proving to yourself that your goals matter more than your excuses. When you win the morning, you set the tone for the rest of your day. Not with pressure, but with clarity, intention, and momentum. So don't rise because the world expects it. Rise because you expect more from yourself. Rise because the person you're becoming is worth the discomfort. And when that voice in your head tries to sell you on staying the same, you remind it who's in charge. The easy road might feel good for a moment, but the right road builds something that lasts. And if you want that kind of life, the kind that feels aligned, earned, and meaningful, you don't wait for it to happen. You rise, you move, and you claim it. Every single day, the hardest battle you'll ever fight won't be against a competitor, a critic, or even your circumstances. It'll be against the voice in your own head that tells you you're not enough. That internal enemy is subtle. It knows your insecurities. It speaks in your own voice, using your past as evidence, your fears as logic, and your doubts as facts. It doesn't yell, it whispers. It convinces you to play it safe, to shrink, to settle. And if you're not careful, you'll start calling that voice reality. But the truth is, the biggest threat to your potential isn't failure. It's hesitation, procrastination, self-sabotage, and the belief that your best effort still won't be enough. That voice will question your every move. What if you fail? What will people think? Who do you think you are? And if you listen long enough, you'll start to slow down, to hold back, to dim your light, just to avoid discomfort. But here's the thing. That voice doesn't have to win. You don't defeat it by pretending it's not there. You defeat it by proving it wrong. Every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you quiet it. Every time you choose courage over convenience, it weakens. You don't need to have all the answers to take the first step. You just need to stop letting fear make decisions for you. Growth doesn't happen in the absence of fear. It happens when you act in spite of it. The strongest version of you isn't fearless. It's just unwilling to let fear be the final voice in the room. So the next time you hear that inner critic telling you to back down, remind yourself who you are. Someone who's come too far to quit, who's endured too much to fold, and who's still standing, not because it was easy, but because it mattered. You are not your fear. You are not your doubt. You are the one who keeps showing up anyway. And that persistence, that resilience, that quiet refusal to give in, that's your real power. Not perfection, not invincibility, just the decision every day to keep going. That's how you win the war within. In a world obsessed with instant results, overnight success stories, and highlight reels, it's easy to forget that real greatness doesn't happen in a moment. It's built over time. There are no shortcuts to becoming the best version of yourself. No app, no hack, no magic formula can replace the value of showing up day after day, especially when no one's watching. Behind every breakthrough is 1,000 quiet repetitions, 1,000 early mornings, and 1,000 moments where quitting would have been easier, but wasn't chosen. Greatness isn't flashy, it's gritty. It's found in the extra set at the gym when your muscles are shaking, the late-night study session when your mind is exhausted, or the decision to keep building your dream even when the results aren't visible yet. You don't stumble into excellence. You commit to it, you bleed for it, and you build it brick by brick while the world is still asleep. And while others are chasing shortcuts, hoping success can be hacked, you're doing the work that no one sees, the work that actually matters. Because shortcuts don't build character. They don't teach discipline, resilience, or patience. They don't prepare you for the weight of real success. What does? The grind, the process, the pain of growth, and the pride of knowing you didn't skip a single step. The truth is, greatness is earned, not gifted. And the price is paid in full, with sweat, consistency, and an unshakable belief in yourself when no one else sees what you're building. So don't get distracted by someone else's timeline or the illusion of ease. Stay focused on your path, your pace, your purpose. There's no fast lane to fulfillment, only the long road of relentless effort. But that's the road that leads somewhere real, somewhere lasting, somewhere only the committed will ever reach. And if you're willing to take that road, without shortcuts, you won't just reach greatness, you'll become it. You're never going to feel completely ready, and that's exactly why you need to start. Waiting until the stars align, until you feel confident, until every piece is in place is just another form of procrastination wearing the mask of preparation. The truth is, readiness is a myth. No one starts a business, changes careers, begins a new chapter, or chases a dream with perfect timing or complete certainty. You grow into readiness through action. You build confidence by doing the very thing you're afraid you can't do. The people who make real moves in life aren't the ones who feel the most secure. They're the ones who act in the middle of uncertainty. They step forward even when their hands shake, even when their voice cracks, even when their mind is filled with what-ifs. And that's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Because there's no amount of thinking, planning, or vision boarding that can replace the momentum of a single bold step. You don't need more time to think, you need more courage to move. So launch the idea before it's perfect. Apply for the job even if you're not sure you're qualified. Speak your truth even if your voice trembles. You don't grow by standing still, and you don't become who you were meant to be by waiting for permission. Growth is messy. Progress is uncomfortable. But every time you take action without waiting to feel ready, you teach your brain something powerful. That you are capable, that you are becoming, that you are already enough to begin. And from there, everything changes. Because action generates clarity. Action builds momentum. Action invites opportunities that sitting on the sidelines never will. So stop rehearsing your dream in your mind and start rehearsing it in real life. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need the courage to take the first step. And once you do, you'll realize that readiness was never the requirement, just a convenient excuse you've outgrown. Real transformation doesn't begin with a new job, a different city, or a fresh haircut. It begins in the space no one sees, your mind. You can change your clothes, your routine, even your circle. But if you don't change your mindset, nothing truly changes. That's why so many people feel stuck, even after switching careers, ending relationships, or chasing trends. Because they're trying to upgrade their lives without upgrading their thoughts. True change is internal. It's the moment you stop thinking like a victim and start thinking like a leader. It's when you replace "I can't" with "I will figure it out." It's when you stop asking for permission and start acting with purpose. Just look at some of the world's most inspiring figures. Oprah Winfrey didn't come from privilege. She came from poverty, trauma, and rejection. But she rewired her mindset to believe she was worthy of something more, long before the world ever did. Or consider David Goggins, who transformed from an overweight, depressed pest exterminator into a Navy SEAL and ultra-endurance athlete, not because his circumstances changed, but because he made a decision to master his mind. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter as a single mother battling depression and living on government assistance. She had every excuse to give up, but she held a vision in her mind that was stronger than her reality. These stories aren't exceptions. They're evidence. They show us that the most important work we'll ever do isn't physical, it's mental. Because once your mindset shifts, everything around you begins to shift with it. Your habits, your energy, your decisions, your standards, they all rise to meet the new vision you hold for yourself. And the beauty of it is this: your mindset is completely within your control. No one can take it from you, and no one else can change it for you. It's your responsibility and also your greatest power. So if you want your life to look different in 6 months, stop obsessing over external changes. Start doing the hard, quiet work of shifting your beliefs. Because once your mind aligns with your mission, your results will follow. The mirror can only reflect what the mind is willing to believe. There's a certain kind of hunger that separates the average from the exceptional, not the hunger for recognition or applause, but the deep, unshakable hunger to become more than what you were yesterday. It's not glamorous. It doesn't always look like confidence. Sometimes it looks like staying late when no one else will. Sometimes it looks like failing again and still getting up. That kind of hunger can't be taught. It's lit from within. It's the drive that keeps you moving when motivation is gone, when your friends are out partying and you're still grinding, when your body is tired and your mind is filled with doubt. But something inside refuses to stop. That's the hunger of someone who has decided they will not be denied. And history is full of people who've proven that relentless hunger beats talent, luck, and even timing. Just look at Howard Schultz, who was turned down by over 200 investors before building Starbucks into a global brand. Or Eric Thomas, homeless and struggling, who rose to become one of the world's most powerful motivational speakers by refusing to let hunger die in him. Or consider Sarah Blakely, who took $5,000 and turned it into $1 billion company because she was too hungry to quit after every no she heard. Hunger doesn't need perfect conditions. It needs clarity. It needs a reason. And once you have that, you don't wait for opportunities. You create them. You stop waiting for doors to open and start knocking them down. That's the kind of hunger that scares the competition, because it doesn't back off, doesn't fade, and doesn't settle. It shows up every day with fire in its eyes and a promise in its soul. So if you're tired, keep going. If you failed, rise up again. Because hunger will carry you when your energy runs out. And the person who wants it the most, the one who's willing to do what others won't, that's the one who wins, every time. Time is the one currency you can't earn more of, can't borrow, can't save, and can't refund. Every second you spend is gone forever, and what you choose to do with those seconds defines the quality of your life. Too often, we treat time like it's unlimited, scrolling, waiting, wasting it on people or habits that don't serve us, until we wake up one day and realize we've been budgeting our energy for everything except what actually matters. The truth is, your future isn't shaped by a single moment of luck or opportunity. It's built in how you spend your hours, your days, your focus. That's why the most successful people in the world don't just manage time, they honor it. They protect their mornings like sacred ground. They say no to what drains them so they can say yes to what moves them forward. Steve Jobs once said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." And he was right, because your life is happening right now, not next week, Not when you're more ready, not after the next season of your life begins, but now. And the scariest thing isn't running out of time. It's looking back and realizing you never really used it. You were always busy, but rarely intentional. Always in motion, but rarely moving forward. So stop waiting for the right time. It doesn't exist. The right time is when you decide your goals are more urgent than your excuses. It's when you stop confusing motion with progress and start building something that actually matters. Every hour you spend is an investment in your legacy. So ask yourself, what are you building? If it's not aligned with your values, your dreams, your deepest why, change it, because time will pass either way. And while money can be lost and made again, time only moves in one direction. The clock is ticking, not to scare you, but to remind you that what you do today will echo in who you become tomorrow. So treat your time like it's the most valuable asset you own, because it is. Time is the most valuable thing you'll ever own, and the most underestimated. It doesn't come with warnings or reminders. It slips through your fingers every second, quietly and without apology. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose motivation and find it again. But time, once it's gone for good. And the danger isn't that you don't have enough, it's that you think you do. That's how people waste years stuck in the wrong job, the wrong relationship, or the wrong habits, waiting for someday to feel right. But someday isn't a day on the calendar. It's a lie we tell ourselves to feel comfortable with delay. The truth is, every hour you waste on distraction, indecision, or fear is time taken from your future. That's why the people who succeed at the highest level, entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, leaders, treat time like a sacred, non-renewable resource. They don't just schedule their day, they protect it. They don't say yes to everything. They don't waste time impressing people who don't matter. They understand that each day is a building block, and what you build with it either pushes you closer to your purpose or pulls you further away. Steve Jobs once said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." And he meant it. You don't get to replay this chapter. You don't get another shot at your 20s or 30s. So if you're not proud of how you're spending your time, that's not a reason to feel guilty. It's a reason to wake up, to get clear, to stop being busy and start being intentional. You don't need more hours, you need more purpose. Because what you do with 1 hour, repeated with focus and discipline, will compound into a life that reflects who you were meant to be. Time is your greatest currency. Spend it wisely, invest it boldly, and above all, don't wait for perfect. Just make sure you're moving forward with intention, because the clock doesn't stop, and neither should you. There will be days when the pain feels unbearable, when your body aches, your mind is tired, and the doubt in your chest grows louder than the dream in your heart. On those days, motivation will not be enough. Energy will fail you, discipline will feel heavy. And that's where your why comes in. Because your why is not just a reason, it's a lifeline. It's the thing that reminds you why you started in the first place. It's the image in your mind of a better future, the sound of your children's laughter, the face of your younger self who still believes in what's possible, the version of you who refuses to settle for an average life. Pain is part of the process, but purpose gives it meaning. When your why is clear, you can endure almost anything. That's why successful people don't just set goals. They define reasons. Deep, emotional reasons that keep them locked in when things get hard. Think about Inky Johnson, once a rising football star with NFL dreams, paralyzed after a single tackle. He lost his arm, but never lost his fight. Because his why wasn't football, it was faith, family, and impact. Or consider Bethany Hamilton, who lost her arm in a shark attack and still returned to pro surfing. Her why wasn't winning, it was proving to herself and the world that purpose is greater than pain. Your why needs to be bigger than the discomfort of the workout, bigger than the fear of rejection, bigger than the sting of failure. Because when it is, you won't quit. You might fall, but you'll rise. You might break, but you'll rebuild. Pain is temporary, but purpose is fuel. So if you're struggling, don't just try harder, dig deeper. Get brutally honest about why you're doing this in the first place. Who are you fighting for? What do you believe you were born to do? When that answer is crystal clear, quitting no longer becomes an option. It becomes impossible. Your why will carry you farther than any talent, luck, or opportunity ever could. Make sure it's strong enough to stand when everything else feels like it's falling apart. There comes a point in life when you have to stop living on autopilot, chasing other people's definitions of success, following timelines you never agreed to, and wearing masks just to fit into rooms you don't even want to be in. Too many people wake up one day and realize they've built a life they never truly chose. A career picked to please parents, a lifestyle curated for Instagram, a personality shaped by fear instead of authenticity. But here's the truth: this is your life. You don't owe it to anyone to live small, safe, or silent. You owe it to yourself to live fully, honestly, and boldly. That means breaking free from the pressure to meet expectations that were never yours to begin with. It means trusting your intuition, even when it goes against the crowd. It means making peace with being misunderstood, because living your truth will always challenge someone else's comfort. Steve Jobs famously said, "Don't be trapped by dogma," which is living with the results of other people's thinking. He knew what most people forget, that your time is too short to live someone else's dream. Consider someone like Keanu Reeves, an A-list actor who never played by Hollywood's rules. He lives simply, gives generously, and walks his own path with quiet strength. Or think of Lizzo, who has redefined what it means to be beautiful, talented, and unapologetically herself in an industry that told her she had to change. Their power didn't come from following the rules. It came from refusing to let the world decide their worth. And that same power lives in you. You don't need approval to be who you are. You don't need a green light to pursue the life that lights your soul on fire. You just need the courage to choose your own voice over the noise. So stop editing yourself to fit into spaces that weren't made for you. Stop shrinking your dreams to make others feel comfortable. This is your story. You are the author. And the moment you start writing it for yourself, not your parents, not society, not your social feed, is the moment you take your power back. Live your life, not the life they expect, the one you were made for. What if your work, your craft, your voice, your effort actually mattered more than you think? What if someone's life, someone's breakthrough, someone's belief in themselves was tied to your willingness to show up fully, to give your best, even on the days when no one's watching? The truth is, we all want our lives to mean something. But meaning doesn't come from what you say. It comes from how you show up. When you work like the world depends on you, everything shifts. You stop chasing recognition and start chasing impact. You stop waiting for inspiration and start moving with intention. The mindset isn't about ego, it's about responsibility. It's the quiet decision to be excellent, not because someone is checking, but because you refuse to be ordinary. You give more, not because you're expected to, but because you're driven by something deeper: purpose. Think of people like Chadwick Boseman, who delivered some of his most iconic performances while privately battling cancer. Or Simone Biles, who put her mental health front and center, reminding the world that true strength sometimes means stepping back. These are people who worked with clarity, heart, and purpose, because they knew their presence mattered. That kind of mindset is rare, and it's powerful. When you take ownership of your role, whether you're building a brand, raising a child, launching a startup, or healing yourself, you create ripples far beyond what you can see. Your effort becomes an act of leadership. Your commitment becomes an invitation for others to rise. And your refusal to settle becomes a reason someone else won't give up. So work like it matters, because it does. Hustle with heart, push with purpose, build like someone else needs what only you can give. The world may never fully know the battles you've fought or the hours you've poured into your craft. But the energy you bring, the standard you set, the legacy you build, that will last. You don't need a spotlight to lead. You need grit, vision, and the courage to act like your work has weight, because it does. Someone out there is waiting for you to take yourself seriously, so get to it. The world is watching, even when it's silent. Give it everything. At some point, you have to stop waiting for clarity and start creating it. Life won't slow down so you can catch your breath or align your plans. It demands movement. And the people who rise, the ones who break through, aren't the most talented or lucky. They're the ones who get up when they don't feel like it, act before they feel ready, and refuse to let fear have the final say. You are not behind. You're just one bold decision away from changing direction. Whether it's waking up earlier, letting go of what no longer serves you, starting that business, or having that uncomfortable conversation, your breakthrough lies on the other side of action. Time is limited, comfort is overrated, and your potential is too valuable to waste playing small. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if you committed fully, unapologetically, to the version of you that doesn't quit? Whatever the answer is, start building it today. Not when it's easy, not when it's perfect, now. Because the clock is ticking and the life you want is waiting for you to catch up. If this message moved something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and drop a comment below. Let us know what you're ready to rise for.